Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Yael Ezra coming at you with another quick video. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard of the so-called dual prophecy. The concept of a dual prophecy was birthed out of the framework of by Christians, to try to explain why prophecy that they said was speaking of Yeshua, of Jesus, didn't fit the first time, because it was revealed to them. If they kept reading or looking at the context of the prophecy, they discovered it was not speaking of Yeshua. So they came up with the concept of the dual prophecy to say, well, the first fulfillment, yes, was talking of another event, but the second fulfillment is without a shadow of a doubt speaking of Yeshua. And a perfect example of a so-called dual prophecy, which is mentioned nowhere in the Hebrew scriptures, is Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. Now, Christians will say that this is a messianic prophecy that is speaking of Yeshua, but with further analysis and actually looking at the context of what is being said in that chapter, you can plainly see that it is not speaking of him. And when a Christian discovers that it is not speaking of him, they quickly turn to the erroneous, false dual prophecy concept. Instead of just admitting that it's not a prophecy about Yeshua and that they was wrong, they came up with this concept to still hold on to something that is not speaking of Yeshua, but say it is. If you want to see these concepts of dual prophecies, you will find them in Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, because everything that they say is a fulfillment involving Yeshua. When you look at it in context, you can plainly see that it's not talking about Yeshua at all when the prophet spoke it. But for some reason, Matthew pulls from these passages and say it was fulfilled in Yeshua. But like I said, when you go back to the passage that they're gleaning from and you read it in context and properly, you can plainly see that it's not talking of Yeshua. But they say it is, and they say it's just a dual prophecy. It was fulfilled the first time with the proper context, and then somehow the second time it is being fulfilled in Yeshua, even though when you read it properly, it's not even mentioning him, as the concepts is not even about him. So do not be fooled by someone saying that's a dual prophecy, because it's not. Shalom.